Is Conor Benn a rat? Hi, my name is Jackie Lee Price, former boxer, and I spent many years in the sport as a boxing coach and judge. That's the question being thrown around right now, and everybody has got something to say. The big news this week, Conor Benn has left Matchroom Boxing for Zuffa, and it's got everybody in the industry talking. So for those that don't know, Zuffa Boxing is the new boxing promotional company run by Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh. So for context, so nobody's lost. 2022, Ben is set to fight Chris Eubank Jr. Massive domestic build-up. Fight week hits, Ben's adverse test results come back, and what people started calling Eggate became the headline. The fight gets pulled and everything turns into hearings, appeals, suspensions, shifting back and forth. An independent panel clears him, UCAD and the board push back and forth. It's a messy situation behind the scenes. Eventually Ben gets cleared, gets active again, and then there's those two Eubank Jr. fights. Big stage with serious money. So social media has gone crazy. Fans are shouting about loyalty, about Eddie Hearn standing by him throughout the alleged PED drama, about Matchroom investing time and money. And look, I understand the outrage from the fans. That's emotion talking. At first I was thinking, wow. But when I really think about it, why are industry people so shocked? That's the part that has me shaking my head. This sport is built on moves behind closed doors. Everybody positioning themselves. So the question isn't why did Ben move? The real question is, what happened behind the scenes that made this make sense to him? So let me give you some context that most people don't understand. When an offer lands, especially something like Zuffa, it doesn't magically appear. It goes through advisors, agents, lawyers. Someone brings that offer to you, and if they have integrity, they lay out your options. So somewhere along the line, Matchroom wasn't looped into the conversation, not early enough anyway, and that's what makes this interesting. Apparently, we're talking about a one-fight situation, and Ben wants Hearn involved somehow. So now you're left wondering, is this real beef? We've seen the videos of Ben training, and despite the social media backlash, my man looks comfortable, like he ain't got a care in the world. Is it one fight and back? Is it a long-term shift? Or is he positioning himself for something different? So now let's talk about the word that everyone is throwing around, loyalty. Loyalty is a principle, being faithful and devoted even when things get messy. And yeah, Eddie Hearn took metaphorical bullets for Ben over the last couple of years. That's not up for debate. That's facts. There's history there, investment, even personal support. But here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to talk about. In boxing, loyalty can quite often go one way. Promoters do what's right for business, networks do what's right for numbers, and fighters, as long as they're winning, everyone's cool. Let them take a loss and see how quickly that energy changes. So is Ben being disloyal, or is he doing what fighters have watched everyone do for decades? Choose themselves. So let's be honest for a second. After that Eubank fight, that sort of payday changes your perspective. When you taste real money, the type that comes with massive events, it shifts how you see risk. Maybe Ben looked across the welterweight landscape and thought, am I realistically going to grab a world title across the four belts? If the belts don't look guaranteed and the damage is the same anyway, some fighters chase legacy, other fighters chase security. Does that make him greedy? Or does that make him realistic about providing for himself and his family? Here's something else nobody's talking about enough. Ben's trainer, Tony Sims, his gym is deeply tied to Matchroom. So how does that even work if you're aligned with Zuffa? Most trainers won't allow you to train with someone from another gym. It's an unwritten rule and it's seen as disrespectful. And as far as wanting Eddie Hearn involved in some capacity, no promoter with Eddie's character is going to let that sit comfortably. And then we hear stories about missed calls, emails instead of conversations. My guess, lawyers got involved. And once lawyers step in, fighters are told, don't speak, don't react, say nothing. And for the record, in my opinion, there should have been a heads-up call That's just old school respect. Meanwhile, Chris Eubank Jr. is out here like the 50 Cent of boxing. He's stirring the pot. But he's making people think, honestly. Some of what he's hinting at raises questions. When someone suddenly moves differently, it's usually because something big shifted behind the scenes. You don't sever long-term associations unless A, the chapter's already finished, or B, something bigger is waiting in the wings. Let me share an uncomfortable truth here. The same people yapping, calling Ben a rat, some of those same people bootlick an organisation or people who can help them. Listen, competitors will smile in your face and sabotage your progress. So-called friends would throw you and your friendship under the bus if they were offered a deal. They would pick themselves every damn time, and that's the reality. For example, I've seen trainers give their heart and soul to a team, and then one whisper from the right person and everything changes. The sport is full of rat behavior. And most of the time, that comes from people that you consider friends and allies. So why is everyone acting so surprised now? Zuffa aren't small players. Eddie said himself that they're powerful people with serious money. Fighters today, they want options, they want leverage. They want to feel like they're not stuck in one lane. And maybe we'll see an exodus of fighters going to Zuffa. Maybe this is showing fighters that there's more than one route. Same damage taken in the ring, but more options and more money. That being said, would I have done this? No. But I've been told that I've got too many morals to succeed in this business. So, yeah, who's the mug? Here's where I land on this. It's hard to justify this move. But we don't know the full story behind closed doors. And I guess we can't judge people by our own moral compass. And as Eddie Hearn said, what's right for you might not be right for someone else. So, is Conor Benn a rat? Or is he a fighter that realised the game doesn't always reward loyalty and he decided to play the game his way? Time will tell. If you want an authentic voice in boxing, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Drop your comments in the comments section below. Keep it real. Less debate. I could be wrong.